Hey guys, welcome back to another video. And I was gonna get this video out a lot sooner, but when I was trying to run it overnight, I forgot to save the actual file of the whole thing. So all the edits that I done, it just disappeared, and it sucked. So I just redid all the videos. I redid everything because I don't know, it was just there's no way I could have redone it. It was just so tiring looking at that footage. But so somebody in the previous video mentioned the M deck, the C deck, and the A deck, and they were looking at my board and they said that my fiance had the A deck. So in this video, or in this picture, you'll see that the M and the C deck exact the same length, but the A deck is a little bit shorter by 6.5 centimeters. And basically, as you see on the side right here, it says that the all decks are basically the A is shorter than the C and M, which is makes it easier to carry. But the deck C and M, the long ones, are a bit more stable to ride. And I mean, I've only rode the ones we have, so we both have the M and the C deck here, and they're the same length, 96.5 centimeters, and that. And then but the only main differences that you'll see here is the shape of the board. So in this picture they took, you'll see that my board is on the right, and my fiance's board, Alexa's, her board is on the left. Now the board length is the same length. There's no telling about that. But what you will notice is that the right hand board that you see right here it's definitely a lot more wider. So her board right here, it's more kind of not as wide. So her being 4'8", 4'9", it's definitely different because she doesn't really need that wide of the board. She has very tiny feet, so in general something like this is more suited for her. I've grown up with some pretty wide feet, and so growing up, and my shoes getting destroyed because of how I walk, and my feet are just ginormous. They're freaking like Fred Flintstone or whatever. Fred. So my board right here on the right is more suited for people who have wider feet, or maybe you're taller, you're 6 foot, maybe you're on the verge of 6 foot, maybe even taller than that. The C deck would probably be your best shot because of just how it looks and how it feels when you're standing on it. So the major really only differences between the M and the C deck are the width of it. That's definitely a no question right there. That you could tell that they're a little bit more different in width and the aspect of that. So because of how they're shaped, the wheels are going to be different. They're going to be more inward looking because of how the board is. You'll see here up at the top that there's a nice little gap between this little section where the screws are and the edge of the board. Whereas in mine, it's at the tippy top. So there's barely any kind of space right there between that. So that's how the wheels get kind of pushed back down a little bit, versus these right here, they're more, up. And just kind of a quick another shot right here, so you can kind of maybe see a little bit of a difference that I'm talking about. So mostly in this shot, I'm kind of letting you see that the board on the right is mine and the board on the left is my fiance's, and you can tell that the board on the right definitely has a bit more of a width to it than the other one. And It's very noticeable at the top because of how different it does look and how it kind of, you can definitely see that there's a huge difference between the board. So I didn't really know the different aspects of the board. Was just told that basically one is meant for somebody that has bigger feet, bigger build, and one is mostly meant for somebody that doesn't really have the height and just the difference of how wide their stance is going to be. So I'm actually very glad that I even went with the board that I have. I'm just lucky that I actually picked something that was more of my style. That was one of the main concerns, is getting a board and not really knowing the difference between the M deck, the C, and the A deck. So at the bottom, there's really no major differences. Um, they're basically the same. So, in that sense, there's really no difference. The handles are just a little bit more differently, and that's really about it on the bottom. You can definitely tell in this right here that the trucks are definitely more down and more towards the center of the board than the other one. It's really, I like the trucks being at the top of the board and at the way back of the board. For me personally, it's just better.